What's going on, everybody? Today I got the bench grinder for the most part completely apart. I've had a problem with, on the one side, the shaft of it had them pretty bad markings, like somebody before had I don't know, used a chisel or a screwdriver or something to pry or just try and, I don't know, get maybe one of the bearings off, but they dug in pretty bad. And just running my finger over it, it didn't seem like the gouges were like recessed out any at all. They were basically, they weren't over the surface, so I figured I might be able to get the bearing and that casing sleeve over it, but it's not going very well at all. I'm gonna end up, I got a small little like torch here that I'm gonna try and put some heat to it and see if I can slide it off putting heat to it. But as of right now, with no heat, it's just not moving. But here is most of the parts. I mean, that needs to be redone. Now, this piece here and this piece were directly over, slid over right here on the shaft. And see there, here's your keyway. Now, this sleeve here for that grinding wheel is what is caught, because if you look at this shaft here where the keyway is, here's your bearing. Here on the shaft is where the gouges were. And I mean, they were all over it, all the way around the inside, outside. Somebody really just did a job on it, basically. And so, yeah, that thing's just completely stuck. And I don't really want to beat on it too hard with a chisel, because it's going to end up the same way that it currently is right now, but probably even worse. I'm going to end up breaking that sleeve and have to end up getting one made for it, or if I can even buy one for as old as this thing is. So that's where I'm stuck at right now with this project, which I'm not really in too much of a hurry to get this thing done and running, but I didn't expect to run into that big of a problem with that shaft being like that. So, and another thing, from one of my last videos, I was talking about wanting to get a new toolbox, which I got kind of never updated about that, which I did end up getting a new toolbox. I got this Husky, I forget exactly how wide it is, but basically they're like $500 new, 500, 550, somewhere around there. And I ended up getting it for $300 off Facebook. Went and picked it up. It was like an hour drive, but I mean, now I got specific drawers for everything here, and I got a ton of extra room for all my tools and stuff finally. And with me getting that toolbox, I also was able to build this rolling cart for my welder, because this was the bottom section of the two-piece toolbox, which here's the top of it, but this was the bottom section to it. So I kind of just turned it into a rolling cart for my welder, which I have yet to put anything on the back of it to hold the bottle, which that'll be the next small project I get going here once I get some metal. Now, this handle here was actually with that toolbox, and there really wasn't enough clearance anywhere here between the desk to have that handle. So I just took the handle off and just tacked it in place here on the cart for a handle. And then as far as for my hoses and stuff go, this was literally just like a hanger for towels and stuff. I think it was like a bathroom, like it had hooks on the top, and it went over the top of a door, I believe. So I kind of just grinded that down and tacked that on there in place to hold those, just basically using what I have here, because I don't really have any spare metal or anything laying here. So I just wanted to use what I had instead of going out and buying a bunch of crap. And as you can see, my camera is fixed. I did get a lens for it. Here's the old one. You see it was cracked. That was where the line is in my videos. It was cracked straight down, almost right through the center. But 20 bucks. Got a new one. Ordered some more tungsten. But, and also as far as an update for the Z exhaust, I did end up cutting the flex pipes completely out. Originally, when I first put it together, I put on the 2.5 inch V bands, and I didn't have my 3-inch V band here, but Dago, he ended up finding one sitting in his garage and let me borrow it until my V bands that I ordered came in, which I have them now, so I'm gonna be giving him his V band back. But so I replaced the V band behind on the back side, the 3-inch V band on the back side of the Y pipe, and I replaced the 2.5 inch V bands on the back side of, oh, they were 2-bolt flanges. I replaced the 2-bolt flanges with V bands on the back side of the down pipes, the test pipes, and the Y pipe. So those have V bands now, and I ended up having to completely cut out those flex pipes because I don't know what changed so much in the exhaust over time, but whenever these ISR exhausts, the way it was built, or if something just changed, I don't know who changed what on this car, but the way the Y pipe was built, when I pulled it off, I realized that it was really extremely hard to get the bolts out of the 2-bolt flanges, and when I did, the flex pipes basically flared out real far. So whoever installed them, or whenever they were made, I guess they were just weren't centered good at all. They just, I don't know if they were built wrong or if they just something happened somewhere down the line, but I absolutely could not get the Y pipe to install right. It was like I was basically fighting it to try and get the bolts in. It was just, without those flex pipes on there was absolutely going to be no way to get it to mount back up, or bolt back up at least, correctly. I think it was probably 1.25 inches, somewhere around there, off-centered to one side of the Y pipe. So what I ended up having to do was cut down a whole section. Well, I cut off both of the flex pipes, but I ended up having to cut down one of the sections completely to recenter where the V band was going to meet at, and it was also too low. So however they made them, they just weren't straight at all. They weren't equal, but I ended up cutting them both down, cut them both back, and just put in a small section of 2.5 inch piping and welded those onto the V bands. So I'll try and get under here and get you guys a quick view of what I'm talking about, what was going on. Which is kind of hard because I got to lay on the ground here underneath my car, but so there's a test pipes coming down, and these are, now this is the driver's side. So this is the driver's side, and here is the small section that I replaced on this side.